What's up, legends? So I've seen a lot of posts lately, people saying that the top is in and we're going down to, around 70K. Now, is it possible? It is, but based off obviously previous cycles, I'd say there's more likely that we go up from here than obviously down. Now, the lowest we could go down to is around 100 and, 105, 106K US dollars on Bitcoin. So before anyone asks, these glasses are not for like to be able to see that, actually just to block the blue light because I'm all into biohacking. So before anyone asks that, but let's get straight into it, guys. Like, I don't know, I've seen too many posts and I just wanted to see if I could see how there could be a bullish case to what's happening right now. And I also try my best to, view the bearish case as well. So this has taken a long time today. I think I've been doing it for almost 3 to 4 hours. So if you guys get value from this and you guys can see what I see, please let me know in the comments below. And look, if I miss some things, I'll try my best not to, but there's a lot to go over, a lot to remember. So let's get straight into it and hopefully I can remember everything. So let's do it. So I'm actually going to share my screen so it's a lot easier. So hopefully you guys can see this screen here. I'm just going to put that away. So look, I just want to go through the 2017 and the 2021 cycle and see if there's any pattern when we hit the top. Okay, so what I wanted to look at quickly was in 2017, what did August look like? In August, all we did is we went up. We went up, we went up, and then we topped out and all the way up. And what did UST dominance do, which is inverse of Bitcoin? So when USDT goes down, Bitcoin goes up, as Bitcoin's been a place where people put their money instead of USDT. Okay, so that's gone down, this has gone up, and this is August, okay? And then we bottomed out at the and on USDT dominance on the 1st of September, and that's why we had a very bearish September. Now, during there, we obviously created a new all-time high, and then we went down and we broke this 100 EMA and we closed, right? And then we recovered pretty quickly, which is, awesome to see. What I believe is this is happening right now, but in August instead. Because in August, we haven't been going up. We've actually been going down, which I'm going to show you guys at the end, that after going through 2017, 2021, and then also, obviously, we're at 2025. So what I like to look at is once we broke this 100 EMA, what do we do on the UST dominance? So by the way, guys, if you don't know what these are, they put EMAs. And once we broke, obviously, below this 100 EMA, where we ended up being on the UST dominance chart is like obviously above the 100 EMA and yeah, quite above. So that just shows me that that was a pretty strong move on Bitcoin because USD dominance also followed that. Now, if you guys see here, when we've also been going down, RSI was also just going down. There was no bullish divergence whatsoever, which is really interesting because I'll show you every other time that happened, there was bullish divergence. So I just wanted to show you guys that we're going up, we're going down, and it's just in a straight line. Okay, now let's look at the top because a lot of people think this is the top of the cycle right now at 124K. Now, I'm not going to say I'm 100% right and we're definitely not going to go there. But the other thing I wanted to show you guys as well, just before I forget about it, is you also want to check where we went. So from here to here using Fibonacci, we only went, we didn't close below the 618 at all. Like we actually bounced off it, which is good to see. And then if we obviously do the same thing on the Fibonacci from here to here, we didn't close above it as well. Because if we close above it, it's pretty bullish. You don't want that at all. Okay, so that's shown on both charts that we're most likely probably going to reverse, which is what we did. So let's see what the top looked like on USD dominance and obviously on Bitcoin. So when we got to the top on Bitcoin, you guys can see here, we we're going up. Bitcoin was just going up. And then obviously we topped, we had the blow off top, and then we went down. The whole time that Bitcoin was going up, what was UST dominance doing? Going straight down. That means all the money was in Bitcoin, not in USDT. So people were extremely bullish, okay? So you guys can see that. Now, what I also like to look at from that is also when we went up to here, which is when we actually broke and closed below this 100 EMA, right? Did we go below 618? So what I like to do is you'd go from this because that's like the last wet pivot. So we go from that pivot to that pivot. 618, we close below it. So to me, that's extremely bearish. I'm out. I'm actually getting out of that hole, out of it completely. Once we got to close below that, I would have been out. And I know, obviously, you know, it's not the best at time in the top, but I would have got out at that position because that just proved to me that that's confirmed. And when we also broke below the 618 and also the 100 EMA, look where we were on the USD dominance. We were pretty far above it. So it was already front running and we were pretty bullish because we flipped resistance and support. So yeah, not looking great there at all. So that would definitely be my confirmation to get out. I'm sure, as you guys can probably see, there's also some bullish confirmation with the RSI as well. So yeah, pretty much when I saw that, I would have been out of it. And right now, obviously, price has come down. We have closed below it, and then we have closed back above it. But we're not at the 618, so it's a very different story. If we look at the RSI, if we look at where we sit in terms of on USD dominance, so in terms of the 618, so if we go here and we did from the high to low, we could even go from this point if we wanted to, but you can see by the time we close, we're above the 618 on here as well. So that confirmed me that this is definitely get the hell out. Like that USDT dominance has flipped bullish. So that's how the 2017, the 2017 top went. So that's how I would have kind of known that this is probably not the best time to be in. And then once we broke the 200 EMA, which is extremely bearish, and also because we're below the 618 as well, as you guys already know by here, we're below the 618. Once we closed below it, which had been around here, look where we were on USD dominance, like extremely above all the EMAs. So there's no way I would have been in Bitcoin at that point. You'd be just kind of just hoping it turns around, but the fact is we're in bullish market structure. So just looking at that, yeah, you'd be out because you're also above the 618 by a mile. Okay, so that's 2017, guys. I wanted to show you. Now, hopefully there's not something I forgot, but I hope that's making sense so far. So all I was showing here is when we closed below 100 EMA, where we were we below the 618? Yes, we were. When we closed below here, were we below the 618? Yes, we were. And what was USD dominance showing at the same time? So now what I do, guys, is we'll go to the actual next bull run, and obviously that was 2021, which I actually was a part of. So let's check this out. So first of all, we're always going to check out how we were in September and August because that's interesting to see. So let's just make it quicker for you guys. There we go. So where we're going to look at quickly is actually where I think we are right now. So right now we have closed below the 100 EMA, and this is June, September. Like I said, I think we front run because August has just been going up on the previous cycles, and also USD dominance has been going down on previous cycles in August, and since September is when it goes up, right? So I believe it's going to be the opposite for 2025. September is going to go up, and obviously August has been going down. Anyways, when we got that close below the 100 EMA, what did we look like on USD dominance? Well, once we got that close, which is here, we were above the 100 EMA, but the only thing I don't like about this is this blue one, which is a 200, was below the 100 already. So it's not really that great to compare, because here it's below, it's below this. Here it should be up here, but it's actually below already. So yeah, it's not the best comparison, but let's just look at what the Fibonacci was showing. So if we just go from here to here, we can see we never even got a close below the 618, which again, if it does, it's bearish. If we break the 200 or the 100 and we close below the 618, I'm out pretty much, especially if it shows on here as well on the UST dominance. But you can see we bounced to 0.5 and we stayed there for a bit, which could happen right now. And then we obviously took off and had a huge quarter four, which is great. So I'm going to just show you guys that quickly. And also if you see, if we go from, the top to the bottom, we didn't even get above the 618. We were literally at the 302, which means this is a very weak move. And then it obviously got rejected from there. And then here is the top of 2021, which wrecked most of us because we all thought we were going to 100K. And I was one of those people for sure. So let's just see. When the ultimate high was put in and we topped out, what was UST dominance doing? It was just going straight down. Like, it was not going up whatsoever. Like, see that? Just going straight up. And this is just going straight down. With not like, it's not going like, for example, it's not doing something where it goes down and goes like this and then down. No, it's just going like directly, like straight down. Okay. Now let's just look at what happened once we broke the 100 EMA. Now, were we below the 618? I don't believe we were at this point. So let's just check where we were. So if we go from there to there. So no, we weren't below the 618. But once we got this close here, below the 200 EMA plus below the 618, out. That'd be me out. I wouldn't be risking anymore. I believe the bull run is over. That's how I'm going to be going off for this run as well. So if that happens next month, I'm out. That's just what it is. I am not taking that risk. So anyways, once we got the close, did it confirm the USD dominance? Well, so far you could see that it closed above. So yes, it did confirm it. It wasn't strong. It was just kind of mirroring it. And then once we got a break above the below the 200, what did it look like? Well, as you guys can see, it also confirmed it, and we've pretty much got a bullish market structure. Now, what does the actual Fibonacci look like? Well, by the time that we were at this point, obviously this is 618. So once we closed below the 200 EMA, we were pretty much at this point here. So we weren't above it, but once we got this, you had been out like straight up. So that was just interesting to see. So I don't think this is where we're at right now, because again, USD dominance isn't going down like this, it's actually going up currently. And also we don't have a confirmed break of any of these EMAs at the moment. Like, they're not mirroring each other, which I'll show you guys soon. Now, you might be obviously thinking, was there any bullish divergence? As you guys can see here, yes, there was bullish divergence as we're going down, but this is showing going up, obviously. So, yes, it's still possible that, this could be happening right now, but based off just what I'm looking at right now, I don't believe so. So I just wanted to show you guys that quickly. Yeah, okay, cool. So now I'm going to go straight into where we are currently, because I think that's going to be a good spot to go. So let's just quickly go to where I think what's happening right now, actually, because I've seen it a few times. So this is where I think we are currently. I know this is not the same dates, but it's just kind of the same kind of pattern I'm seeing. So let me just quickly find that for you guys. There we go. Okay, so as you guys can see, obviously USD dominance is going down, right? But we had a bit of a recovery here into this point. So I feel like this is where we're at right now. Like price is kind of just consolidating and then it's coming up a bit. So let's just imagine right now this is where we are currently, and 124K is here, and we've taken out that all-time high, had the manipulation, and then went down, and then we've closed below, but obviously here we didn't. So that's what I think we're at right now. Now, what are we seeing to make it kind of similar to obviously what we're looking at currently? So currently we're looking at the RSI showing bearish divergence on the move up, and we've also obviously got bearish divergence here on the MACD as well. The reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because even though we've got this, what happened? We went obviously from 38K and all the way up to where we are now. So it's not like this is the end, this is the top. I think this is just a movement down to EMAs, and then we're going to go up again. So I wanted to show you guys that. And you guys could go, well, why is there bullish divergence on, let's say USD dominance? That doesn't mean anything. There's bullish divergence here from this point here. And what happened? We just went all the way up to here and then we rejected. And you can see here, right, it did obviously somewhat mirror a little bit. Obviously it broke, but what I like to see again is the whole 618 kind of thing. So if we, went from, I don't know if we'd go from this high, but let's just do it. You can see we barely, we hit the 382 and then we rejected. So very strong move. And then here for, let's say, the bullish case of where we wanted to see price go is we go from here to here and we hit the 382 as well. So very bullish. Okay. And then there's another situation where this happened again. I'm just trying to figure out where it is, which I think was literally last year in around December when Trump got all the Trump pump happened and stuff. So I want to show kind of like why I think it's pretty similar, and we could definitely break down to the 200, but let's just see what happens. Let me just get that to where you guys can see it better. And then let's go to obviously the point where we're looking now. So once we had this top out, which you obviously can see, we broke all-time high, and then what happened? We went down. Seems to be like a textbook play at the moment. Once we got the close below the 100 EMA, which is what we've got now, what does USD dominance show? Well, we're above the 200 EMA, which is extremely, bearish for Bitcoin and bullish, obviously, for USDT dominance. We obviously had bullish divergence on the RSI, got into that as well, which is what we currently have. Now, what I also want to show guys is, let's see where we sit on, let's just say the Fibonacci. So usually when you go with this move, you go off the pivot. So I personally go off that pivot. You guys can go off whatever pivot you want, but let's just say we go off this pivot to the top of the move. 618, we never went below. So to me, you'd be still bullish, even though we broke into 200 EMA because we didn't close below the 618. So that would be like, okay, I'm still in this because we haven't got that close. As soon as I got that close, I would have been out. Okay, so that's how I do it. Now, what did the USD dominance show? Well, you can already see it's a pretty strong move. So if we go down to here, 618, we closed above. So obviously that confirmed that break was probably going to be bearish and we're going to go down even more. But right now we're not getting that. So that's why I'm like really, and also if you guys didn't know, on this move, which, we've got bearish divergence, as you guys can see, which we have currently now as well. We also have that on the MACD. So as you can see, there's like bearish divergence on the MACD and RSI. So to me, I'm not really stressing about seeing the bearish divergence as a top or the bearish divergence on the MACD as a top either. So I wanted to show you guys that quickly. Now let's get to where we currently are. Okay. So let's see what's different to where we are, and people are calling the top right now, which I think is ridiculous, but I can 100% be wrong here and I'm happy to be wrong. But I just don't think I am here. So what's happening currently, right, is since, so Bitcoin's obviously been going up, right? It's been going up for most of August. Now we're obviously going down, but we've already made it to 100 EMA and we've closed below. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I think we're front running September because everyone knows that, wake me up when September ends. So maybe they're like, well, everyone's gonna be bearish, they're gonna be selling their bags, thinking that we're going lower, and then they just have a surprise pump. So just like when everyone thought that it was by the rumors, Southern News, when Trump got actually elected, we had a Trump pump. How do we know that it's going to be the same situation with the interest rate cuts? That everyone thinks it's going to be by the rumors, Southern News, and then we just absolutely go crazy. Now, again, we obviously can still go down to the 200 EMA. That's fine as long as you don't break below the 618. Okay. So what I'm seeing here, guys, is we are going up in Bitcoin, and then we're going like not directly down on UST dominance. Like we are going down, but not like it was at previous tops. Like previous tops, it was just a straight line down. While we broke the while we actually topped out, it was just straight down. So you guys can see straight down. This is more like a zigzag kind of approach, and I think it's just more of a like coming to, for example, I'll show you. I think it's just coming to a fib level, which is could reject here at the 382 or the 0.5, or obviously in the 618. I think there's more chance it rejects in this area, and then it goes down again, and then obviously that sends Bitcoin up. So that's what I'm looking at. Now, as I was saying, guys, we do have obviously the bullish divergence, but it doesn't really mean much. It just kind of looks exactly like what I've showed you in this video before. So I'm not worried about that at all. And it can also be hidden bearish divergence. Which I know a lot of you guys like, what are these terms? Just trust me, you will learn if you decide to learn to trade. Now, once we got that break of the 100 EMA, what did it look like on USD dominance? Well, to me, it looks more like a fake out because it's not even confirmed yet. There's no confirmed break above this 100 EMA, which has had in the past. So to me, this is actually a fake out manipulation. And what I think was going to happen, and again, we guys can easily come down to here and need a bounce, and it's more likely to happen than not because there's just so much liquidity there, which I can show you guys quickly. You can see there's all liquidity below here, 108, 108, 108. So there's a lot of liquidity below than there is above. But then the thing is, sometimes that liquidity is there to trick people, and then obviously it goes the other direction because it can easily be just taken off the chart. So just remember that. Don't always just fall for that. But I wanted to show you guys that. So pretty much right now, it's not confirming that break that we've made. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do. Now, where are we on the Fibonacci for this move currently? I think we're at the 0.5 or 302. So let's just check. So somewhere around there. So if we got a break below the 618, it's honestly not too bad because the 200 EMA is still here as a support. But right now we're in the golden pocket, and the golden pocket is literally just the 382 and the 618. So as long as we stay in this area, we're good. So again, guys, if we do break below the 618, it's not great, and I think that what that means is we're more likely going to go down to, let's just check out what levels. So let's just say we come here and we close as a candle right here. That's to me a bit concerning. But again, if this doesn't confirm it, I'm probably not going to be worried about it. But let me just get rid of that. And let's just check what levels would Bitcoin go to, because it might be not a correction of this move, but it might be a correction of this whole wave here. So if we go from there to the top, the lowest is 93K. The middle is 99K and 105, which is, around where the liquidity is at the moment, around the 108, 105 area, which is also lining up with the 200 EMA. So like I said, guys, there's more chance that we actually come into, I'd say, around this area here, so 107, maybe I'd go like that. So yeah, like 102, 106 in that area is probably where we get the bounce if we do not hold this support on the 100 EMA, which is definitely possible, but we'll see what happens. So just wanted to point that out, guys. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really believe this is not the top, because what normally happens at the top isn't what obviously history has shown. And as we know, past performance doesn't guarantee future performance, but it's just something worth knowing as well. Now also, guys, I don't know if you're aware, but most cycles, so from the bottom to the top, so this is 2018's bottom to the top of 2021. There was 1,060 days it lasted from the bottom to the top. And 2017, there was 1,068, so it's pretty close. And then from obviously the 2010 to 2013, which was like the very first one, there was 1,150 days. And right now we're at 1,011 days. Now, is it possible that this is the top? It is, but based off what I'm looking at, I don't believe it is. So you guys can obviously do your own analysis and take your own risk off that. But I do believe, from what we've seen, that this is not the top. It could be the local top, but it's not the top. And local top just means just like this was the local top. Oh wait, sorry, I have to go on Bitcoin. Just like this was the local top back in the 17th of Jan, when the Trump situation. And then obviously we corrected. And as you guys can see, what did we do? We corrected the whole wave. So if we go from the bottom to the top, we never went below 618, which means it's still bullish. And we stayed in this buy pocket, which is great. And I'm hoping that's exactly what we get here. So that's just going off, obviously, USTD dominance against Bitcoin. But let's look at Bitcoin dominance, and let's look at others' dominance as well, to see if there's anything different to previous cycles. So I'm just going to quickly get that up on here. So change over to the Bitcoin dominance, because I just wanted to show you guys something really interesting, actually. So let's just get that there. Look, we can literally start from obviously where we're at currently. So when we topped out, this is where we're topping out on Bitcoin dominance. So usually when we top out on Bitcoin dominance, we're not this far down on Bitcoin dominance when we top out on Bitcoin. So what I mean is, we've also had an oversold. Like, we've also oversold pretty much the second peak before we topped. So the second peak before we topped, we also reached the oversold on Bitcoin dominance, which is really interesting. Okay. And ever since then, we continue to go down, and still looking absolutely very bearish on Bitcoin dominance. So you guys can see we've just gone, straight down. We didn't peak. So if we, like, for example, right now, if this top lined up with this, I'd be pretty bearish, but that's not what happened. The top lines up with this area here. So to me, it's just looking completely different to all the other cycles. Doesn't mean it's not going to top out, just means you just back all these evidence as to why I'm bullish, and that's what I'm showing you guys. So let's look at the top of 2021 and see if there's any difference on Bitcoin dominance to where we are now. So remember, guys, this is not the top of Bitcoin. This was the top of Bitcoin. It's at 124K, which is where people think it is. And we also had zero overbought, zero, like nothing's gone above it. We've actually gone below the oversold area. So let's just see what other cycles it look like. So to get there quickly, I'm just going to do it as minimize as I can, so we can get there very quickly. So 2021, there it is. So what is, oops, it did not want to grab that. Okay, so let's look at that. So as you guys can see, this was the top, right? This is the top of Bitcoin, and this is where Bitcoin dominance was. Right now, we're like here. Now, the peak of Bitcoin dominance, where that show at the second peak before we topped, kind of just like USD dominance as well. So it was at the second peak. This time around, like, as you guys can see, what happened on Bitcoin dominance is we went up and then we went down and then we're here. And the peak of Bitcoin dominance was on the second peak. Right now, if you look at the second peak, it's completely different to that, which again, if I have to show you guys, I will. Now you can see also when we hit this peak on Bitcoin dominance, we're also above the oversold area as well. Overbought. And we never went into the oversold at all. So to me, that's shown complete difference. And when we were going up, like, so for example, when we were going up to take the top out, what was happening on Bitcoin dominance? We were going up as well, right? Then we topped out on Bitcoin dominance on the second peak, and then we went down, and then we went down, which is completely different to what we're experiencing right now. So let's go all the way to, 2017. So there it is. Let's see if there's any difference again. So let's go 2017 quickly. Okay, awesome. So here we are. So what I want to do quickly, guys, is show you that when Bitcoin has been going up, so has Bitcoin dominance. It's continued to go up, Then we topped, which should be, when we topped should be the second peak, or could be even the peak, which you guys can see. When we peaked on Bitcoin dominance, we also peaked on Bitcoin, which is really interesting. And then where the top was, actually, no, there you go. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. When we peaked on Bitcoin dominance, it was the second peak, just like 2017, just like 2021, which is where we're at right now. So 2017 is the cycle we're looking at. The second peak was the peak of Bitcoin dominance. We also got into the overbought area, and we never really went to the oversold when we topped until about all the way down here. So to me, that's really interesting. And obviously we went up, and here we also went up with Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin went up as well. And then obviously we topped out and started going down. Okay. So why I'm showing you that is because it's completely different. And if we look at the 2017 Bitcoin dominance, right, from its peak, so obviously it peaked around here, to, let's go where we're at currently, which is in 27th of August. So around, let's just go close enough. So yeah, it dropped by almost 47% and took 179 days to do so. So that was 2017. Okay, so then what did 2021 look like? So we're too quick then. Well, you guys can see that already from there. So dropped pretty decently. So if we go from, again, the peak, which is this bit here, and we drop it to August, it's 237 days, and we dropped by 40%. So Bitcoin dominance dropped a long time. Okay, so where are we at currently then? What has the drop been on Bitcoin dominance so far? So from here to there, oh, sorry, we want to go to obviously current price. It's only been 68 days. So it's been barely nothing, which means we're going to continue to drop, which is only going to be bullish for altcoins and should be bullish for obviously Bitcoin continuing as well. Because as you guys can see, if I just go to the current, as Bitcoin's been going up, Bitcoin dominance, right? So Bitcoin dominance has only been going up for this part, then it went down, and then it went up for a little bit. And then since this point here, we've just been going down on Bitcoin dominance. All the previous highs in terms of tops on previous cycles, Bitcoin dominance was mirroring it until this peak here, and then obviously it dropped. As you guys can see here, it's been going down, which is completely different to 2017 and 2021, which is another reason why I don't believe this is the top on Bitcoin. To add more to it, you can also look at, let's say, for example, others dominance. So if we go on to others dominance and see what looks different this time around. Okay, so when Bitcoin, for example, topped, you can see, or we can just chuck it in here if we want. Bitcoin topped. Where are we right now? We are literally in a downtrend, and we have not been an uptrend fucking for a long time. So we've been in a downtrend since where we go? Probably around March the 24th. That was the last time we went high, and then we've gone down ever since. So we've been going down, and obviously Bitcoin has been going up. As you guys can see, Bitcoin's been going up, others dominance has been going down. And we just recently, as some people are thinking, we've topped out. So if you think this is the top, well, as you guys can see here, we still haven't created any bullish market structure until we break above this point. So until we break above this area here, we still haven't created bullish market structure. We created a higher low, but we haven't created a higher high. So we want price to close above there. And then it's obviously bullish for alts. So I wanted to show you guys that when we topped, if you guys call this as the top of 2025, it makes no sense, because from here, all we've been doing is going up, but we've been going down, and we're still in a downtrend. Okay. Maybe another thing I could look at is what are we looking like on others dominance. So on others dominance, and we topped out on Bitcoin. So to say the second peak, we went obviously into the overbought. And let's see what other obviously situations have been. But as you can see, where the top is, which is here, we're pretty much at the midline. Okay, so if you guys are thinking this is the top, let's see what the other cycles look like. So let's go check out those cycles and see what we can find. So let's just quickly get on that. So let's get to 21. Okay, so let's see what others dominance was doing while Bitcoin was obviously topping out, as you would say. So let's just quickly find that. So this is obviously 2019, 2021. Here we go. So you guys can see a very big difference. Now, again, obviously institutions can make a big difference with it, but I still believe things usually don't repeat, but they definitely rhyme. And right now, this is not looking this exact same at all. So it looks very crap on others dominance, but you can see Bitcoin was going up. What was others dominance doing? Going up as well. It was not in a downtrend. It was in a complete uptrend. You can see we're creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher. Well, obviously that's a fake out. High, 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 low. So very, very different. Now, when we topped out on Bitcoin, which would be, let's actually get the spot. So let's get exactly. So this is when we topped out on Bitcoin. What was the RSI showing? RSI was pretty high up. So it wasn't down in the midline. It was, close enough to our overbought area, which is not where we're at right now. So to me, again, very different. And then again, let's go to 2017 and see what that was like. So let's go to 2017. There it is. Let's see if there's anything that we can notice as different. So let's go all the way to 2017. Okay, so let's just get this there. Okay, so again, we are creating bullish market structure, bullish market structure, bullish market structure, right? Then obviously we went down, but we've created bullish market structure. What did we do on Bitcoin before we topped out? We were going up, and so was others dominance. Others dominance is also going up. So very different to where we're at right now. If we look at obviously the situation, top, again, like very different to where we're at. What does the RSI show? obviously in the overbought area, not down where the midline is on the RSI. So yeah, I'm definitely not seeing what other people are seeing in terms of being bearish on everything. I don't believe that this is actually the top of Bitcoin. I think we're going to recover. Hopefully we get a strong bounce here, but if we don't, like I said, we can come down to this area. And if we don't, then I've already marked out the areas that we could go down to as well. So let's just see what happens with that. But I don't believe this is the bottom. And guys, remember I don't believe this is the top. And remember, guys, when it's the top, you have people that are just absolutely going crazy in crypto. Like as soon as you put, let's say, something bearish out there, people are going ape shit, like saying no, like you're stupid, you're so dumb, like see you at the top and blah 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 blah. Like it's euphoria, absolutely euphoria. Altcoins are going crazy. People are making money out of nothing. Like it's just another level. And when people make bearish posts, right, you don't usually get a lot of people like believing that they're right and you're on the right track and this is completely good. You usually get absolutely killed for saying that you're in the top. And I saw a post by ASX Trader, and yeah, a lot of people were agreeing with him. It's like, okay, that's really interesting. Not saying that he's not right, or the people in the comments aren't right. But usually when you're at a top, no one can predict it most of the time. And when you do say that we are at the top, you get absolutely killed by everyone. And I don't believe that's where we're at all right now, in my opinion. And it makes no sense for them to even bother with topping out now when no one's really made much money from this market at all. Like it's just been a complete slump. Like we've been literally, as you can see, Arbiter's dominance hasn't even broken out of its bear trend, like bearish market structure at all. So to me, that just shows that there's still so much more to go, but I'm happy to be wrong. So what I want to do, guys, now is just show something quickly, which I know you guys already know about, but it's always good to go through it. You guys know about, obviously, M2, right? Now, I don't believe M2 is going to just rely on solely, but so far this cycle, the M2 money supply has been really amazing at predicting where price has been going. As you guys can see, just quickly from looking at this, we had that dip, we came up, and we had the two dips, came up, and so far, this is where we're at currently. So let me zoom in. So this is kind of where we're at right now. And as you can see, it continues to go up. Now, does it mean that we're going to obviously follow this all the way to where it is, which is, I don't know, pretty high up? I think the top will be around 135, 140 to, I'd say 145. That's like my top of this cycle. And I think we're close, but I don't think we're at the top yet. Until we break below this 200 EMA with a close below the 618, then I'm probably out, because that's just, yeah, very, very bearish. So let's just see what happens with that. But based off M2, we're looking pretty good right now. The other thing I want to show you guys, in case you weren't aware, is something called MVRV. So if you guys don't know what the MVRV score means, so this is obviously yellow is Bitcoin, and the obviously other color is the Bitcoin MVRV. So all it shows is the people that have actually bought Bitcoin, are they in profit? And when they go, when obviously the MVRV is above Bitcoin by a decent amount, it means that, yeah, there's a lot of people with a lot of money and now they're selling. They're smart money. Like they don't want to hold on to their bag, so they start selling. So what I've noticed here, in a way to actually see the top of Bitcoin, is when the MVRV creates a lower high, when Bitcoin creates a higher high, it's showing divergence and it's showing that smart money is out and retail is still going up. And that's kind of time to get out. Based off, this is obviously 2017. You can see Bitcoin has created higher highs, while, MVRV has created lower highs. So you could almost time the top just going off this, which is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to be looking at this to see, how it goes. So let's just look at each cycle. So let's just look at obviously 2021 cycle. I want to get the actual right date. Sorry, it's not the right one yet. Okay, so we're now in 2021. Good. And we're in 21 still. Okay, cool. So as you guys can see here again, Bitcoin created a higher high. What did MVRV do? Created a lower high. You want to get the hell out of that because you can see smart money has already exited and you're just going to be, you're looking at liquidity, so get out. And let's look at what it's doing currently because right now, from memory, it's just mirroring exactly the same moves. There's been no divergence on it so far. So let's just look at this currently. So you can see right now, we are literally mirroring it. There is no divergence whatsoever. So again, that kind of shows me this is not the top, based off the fact that every other top, we had that. So yeah, to me, it's definitely not the top, in my opinion. Again, can be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. And if you guys don't also know, there's also an image I can share you guys right now that also shows you that this has pretty much timed the top as well. So when we top tier, and this is obviously 2021, didn't really get there. You can almost say that also, we didn't get that to that point, but we're so low. Like we haven't had any big pushes above Bitcoin on the MVRV. So I'm very, very bullish right now. I really do think this is a final shakeout before we go absolutely crazy. So let's just see what happens. I don't know if you guys are also aware of this, but we also have something called the bull market peak indicators, which has 30 indicators that usually would help you time or let you know when we're literally almost at the top. And out of 30, zero have ticked, say that we're at the top. And these are really massive indicators that let you guys know if we're at the top or not. So yeah, you guys can just get this on CoinGlass bull market peak signals. And I look at this every day. You can also look at, like, for example, if you go onto YouTube, you go onto social media, when it's the top, the Google trend is like crazy into how much people are searching crypto and Bitcoin. Right now, it's not looking great. And also the views on like videos on YouTube are like crazy amounts. Right now, again, people are still very bearish. Like when it's the top, people aren't thinking of selling. People are thinking of buying more. Just like when we thought it was going to 100K. Right now, people are bearish. People are thinking they should sell, which tells me that we're definitely not at the top because no one's got that euphoria kind of mindset yet. And if I was a market maker and I had a lot of money, I would want to sell when everyone is super bullish. And we haven't had that yet. We haven't had that at all. So to me, it says here, hold, do not sell. If you're selling, I mean, good on you. You're going off your own risk management. But for me personally, I'm not. Now, I wanted to also show you guys this, is whenever we have a really red August, we usually have a green September. And as I was saying, like, 2017, 2021, we had a very bullish August. And then we had a very bearish September. Wake me up when September ends. But as you guys can see off this, when it was 2017, we had a very bullish August, 63%. September, we had obviously a 7% drop. 2021, we had a 13%, which is not crazy. Then we had a 7% drop. So it's not going to be a massive dump, I don't think, on obviously the whole month of September if it does happen. But what I believe is it's not going to happen. We're going to have a very bullish September. 2025, so far, we're having a red August, which means we're going to have probably most likely a bullish September, because when it's been bearish in August, it's been bullish in September for the last 2 years. I'm not saying it's going to repeat. As you can see here, it was bearish in 2022, but that was a bear market, which is the bottom of like that cycle. And we had a 3% drop in September. But that's what I'm looking at. So based off that, the fact that we have bearish August, there's a good chance we're going to have a bullish September, which is going to take a lot of people it's going to, people aren't going to be expecting that, which is what the market maker does. So we could easily go down to 105, 107K from now, which would make August even worse in terms of like maybe up to 5 to 8, maybe it's an 8% drop from here in terms of August. And then September will be very bullish. That's what I believe. So I believe I've covered everything I needed to. Just understand, guys, if you want to do it yourself in terms of figuring out where price might go, first of all, you always go from the pivot to where it is. So you go from here to here, and you can see right now we're in the actual golden pocket. So I'm just gonna make sure, I can't even see if I've got that right. So yeah. So we're in the golden pocket. Obviously price can come down to 108K, which would be great, hit the 618, but the 200 EMA is here, so we can definitely go down lower. And again, how low? If we want to remain bullish, I don't believe 70K is going to happen, but based off this, because if we get a close below around 70K, I'm out, because that's out. I'm out of that. That to me breaks my rules. We close below the 200 EMA in the bull market, and we close below the 618. I'm out of that. So if that happens, guys, trust me, I'm selling my bags. The loss is what it is. I just don't want to hold through that. So you can see here the golden pocket for Bitcoin. If we break the 618 level, which is like 108K, it's from 93K all the way to 105. So if we close below 93,500, yeah, not good, guys, not good at all, because we're below the 200 EMA and we're also below the 618. So I don't like that. But so far we're forming a bull hammer. Obviously that can easily be reversed. But what we want to see from here, guys, if we're going to remain bullish, is we want to see this exactly. So let me just get this. From here, we want to go, and we want to break above this for sure. So yeah, we want to go around here, create a higher low, and then we're off to the races. That's kind of what we want. Again, what does this show? So just make sure I've set this up correctly. Yep, 70 days. So let's just check. So this is where we're at, somewhere around here. And then, yeah, we definitely get above that price. So yeah, I would say something like that would probably what we're looking for. If we want to look at the weekly, let me see what it looks like in the weekly. So I'm pretty sure the weekly is a bit more accurate, but I'm going to have to change the settings as well to, it's like, let's just do 12. Okay, so on the weekly, so far, as you guys can see, we're pretty much following it. We've had that dip, we've come up. So far, we're just kind of consolidating, and then we should go up higher from here. So guys, I don't know if you have ever looked that deep into the charts and looking at EMAs and looking at all sorts of stuff, but I really hope you guys got some value from that. I hope maybe you saw some things that you agree with or maybe you disagree with. Please share in the comments below. And also, because you guys stayed all the way to the end, I want to give you guys a gift. Just understand this is not financial advice. This is just if I was in a situation where I'm in and I had some capital that I wanted to put into crypto, what coins would I buy? Well, I already shared to people I'd buy CRO, because CRO is a very safe investment. Now with the last, obviously, pump, probably I'd be waiting for a pullback on that. And maybe you pretty much missed it. On my stories, I shared to jump in at like, I think it was like 11 cents Australian. But for now, based off, let's not talk about CRO. I think Clearpool is a really good investment. I believe, so you've got Clearpool. I'd say Morpho is nice because Morpho is on the base chain and, it's a really good DEX with real revenue. ATH, which is a really good one. So you guys can look into that. They pretty much are using the GPUs of NVIDIA, and they've got real world revenue, which is, really, really different. So it's called AFA, or ATH is the ticker. I love Injective. So we've got Injective. And Pengu is probably one of the best meme coins you guys can jump into in terms of a very safe place to put your money. And let's think of anything else I could probably add into it. Maybe Beam. And if you're going to go really high risk, maybe Medicaid. So, yeah, guys, do what you want with that information. Obviously, it's not financial advice. It's just me sharing what I would do in this situation with money if I had it on the sidelines right now. And I believe the market was going to continue going up. And I was willing to risk money that I was willing to lose as well. Those are the coins that I'd probably be putting my money in. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope it was worth staying to the end for maybe those picks that could make you a lot of money. Who knows? And yeah, if you guys want more videos like this, maybe like what my strategy would be when I want to sell my coins in terms of like what am I looking for, I could make a whole video on that, especially. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Please roast me in the comments if you don't believe what I believe. And if you do believe what I believe, let me know in the comments as well. Have a great day, guys. And let's hope the crypto gods are on our side and we have a massive, massive September and Q4. Peace.